What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your professional development, and today I have Yubel with Evil Eye. I'm sure you saw the title. I've been a big fan of Evil Eye, and I wanted to revisit this deck. I've been messing with it for quite some time. This is a big shout out to the person I think in the Evil Eye Facebook group I talked to quite a bit. He was really interested in updated variants, and I was testing with Unchained, and then that didn't feel good enough to share yet, and then Fiendsmith got announced, and then Phantom came out, and there was just so much happening, so I landed on this build. This is obviously post Battles of Legends, but pre-info, and maybe this is something you want to do, messing around with Evil Eye or Yubel either or, without having to buy the Fiendsmith, but getting something a little bit different. The great thing about all these little Fiend-based decks right now is they're very consistent and put up that Unchained board with at least Rage and the Escape or the Reborn, however you want to do it, but they all lead to a lot of interrupts off very little. So this is a cool version. I wanted to go ahead and try it, and without that, I'll go ahead and share the main deck, the extra deck, and I'll even show the combo of how that kind of works. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this is a 40 card list. You could go all the way up to like 45 because there's a lot of cards in here you don't want to draw, similar to obviously Pure Yubel, Rescue Ace, all that kind of stuff. And there's still a fair amount of starters, so you could do that. Keep that in mind. Right now this deck has 9 non-engine slots, which is not terrible, but not as good as it could be, right, when you compare it to like 15 to 20 Snake Eye, Hand Trap, Turbo, plus Crossout, all that kind of stuff, right? But we're looming with a ban list, so I like doing a few different kinds of decks in this period of time. For the Evil Eye starters, 3 Surzeal, 3 Unleashed, and 3 Domain. And so I guess I'll talk about each one of these briefly. Is that these are all 1-card starters that essentially end you on Surzeal with the equip for an interrupt, plus the Unchained Link 2 and Escape to then have a Link Away, a pop, and then going into SP for 2 more interrupts, which is really, really solid. So all of these cards get you there. The Domain is typically going to search the Surzeal. Unleash does get you there by dumping a few things that I can get into later. But they're all 1-card starters, and then the 1 terraforming. So 10 1-card starters for the Evil Eye side is not that bad, especially if you want to throw in set rotation or something like that, you can. And then for the extenders of the Evil Eye package, 3 Re-Emergence. This card is insane. If you follow my channel for quite some time, you know I messed with this at a regional with Horus a while back. It was really cool. I really like it, but I think there's going to be a lot of things that change that give this deck a big boost. This card just gives you a Fiend token and locks you into Fiends. That's something to be aware of. If Celine's on the field, the equip spell, it gives you 2 tokens. And enough of, I don't even know how to say it, funny enough, Yama just says 2 Fiends, not an Unchained monster, not any of that, as I'm sure people are finally learning more and more nowadays. So really good card there. And then 2 Gorg and 1 Celine. Celine is what makes your Evil Eye monsters unable to be targeted, unable to be destroyed, any of that good stuff. And then the Gorg is something that you banish from grave, pitch an Evil Eye card, and then you search an Evil Eye spell trap. So this is a searcher, and really for the combo, you always need at least 1 in deck to dump, and then 1 in deck to add. So you want to play at least 3, 2 of the searchers, and 1 of the one that you want to get. If you hard open this, it's fine, just as long as this resolves to get you something. That's all that matters, because it does search and equip when you're using Unleashed with these cards. This gets you any Evil Eye spell trap. And then the last Evil Eye spell trap remaining is Awakening. We're not playing the Retribution or anything like that. I think it's called Retribution. The counter trap, that's a spell trap negate. You could side that. I always typically side that. I just don't think it's needed going first. This has more versatility. This is a monster reborn for Evil Eyes, or if the Celine's up, it's an emergency teleport. So just really, really good. And then the last few Evil Eye cards that will round out the package here, monster-wise, as extenders, like I said, was 1 Basilius, 1 Catoblepus, and 1 Basil Trice. These are all really solid. They're all extenders. Inherent Special Summon if there's an Evil Eye on board. These both have a quick effect to summon themselves from the grave to the field if there's an Evil Eye on the board. This is a quick effect. This is not. This can protect an Evil Eye card from being destroyed by card effects through the end of the next turn, so you protect your equip. And this can essentially IP it, quick links on your opponent's turn into an Evil Eye monster, and you can use Evil Eye even equip spells as material. So it's just a really, really cool card. If you're playing pure, my ratios were more like 2 of this and 2 of this, or at least 2, 1, and 1. But for now, we needed to make some space, so 1 of each is perfectly fine. And then before we bridge into the Yubel stuff, the Unchained package, one Sharvara, one Escape. I like Escape way better than the Reborn. I think there are a lot of lines. Maybe you like it in Yubel, but I think even in Evil Eye 2, I don't do it. I don't think there's a need to cycle through multiple Yama, use Sharvara, get a Reborn, do all that like greedier stuff. I don't think it's needed just for a Varudris on top of everything. It's like, it's good, but like in this variant, you don't need that, so you can make better use of the Sharvara search and have an extra interrupt just through Escape without going through extra hoops. So for the Yubel package, it's quite small, but I'll talk through it a little bit. And it is more than just 3 Throne for people who are interested. So 3 Throne, this is a starter, and then we do play 2 Spirit and 1 regular Yubel. Unfortunately, you do need 2 Spirit. If you don't, and say you open these 2, Spirit plus Throne, it makes it so much worse because Spirit has to pop from deck. If it's at hand or deck, you could cut down on so many breaks, but you can't. So you need to at least have a second Spirit in rotation to make sure you can pop it with Throne. And then 1 Samsara, 1 Grave Squirmer, and 1 Pain. This is a starter, and these 2 are both kind of essentially extenders, like that all get through things. But the main way you're using this is one of 2 ways, which is if you already have full Evil Eye combo, you can use this to just get like a Phantom and insulate your plays. Or you can go for the full line if you really want and use this stuff to go into the Unchained stuff and all that kind of, and do a lot more extra plays that way. So I'll talk a little bit about how that line works in the combo. But for finishing off the main deck, again, we have 9 non-engine. You could bump this up to 45. I think you should. I'm not on hand traps, which is also really, really dumb. I get that right now. But this is fun. This is an exploration. This is a proof of concept. And this is just what I like at the given moment is 3 Droplet and 3 Imperm Droplet to help really take advantage of Throne, the field spells, the equips, the things you want to get rid of and get sent to grave. Imperm being the most versatile one for going first or second. And then kind of similar in that vein is 2 talents and a called by. But again, you could really bump this up, play different non-engine, play more hand traps, go all the way up to maybe even 45 and probably be fine. So no super poly. I really wanted to fit that in. That's the card I wanted to fit in the most. But the extra deck is just so tight and doesn't really have space to handle it well. I think that might change with Fiendsmith because then you don't need to go through as many hoops for the Yubel stuff. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and showcase the extra deck. So a lot of Fiend-centric based pieces. So for the Unchains, 1 Abom as our link 4, 1 Anguish, 1 Zerziel as a link 3. This is the only Evil Eye link we played. Even back when I was testing with the link 2 Gorgon, that never comes up. The Gorgon's an Imperm essentially, and this is just a pop for anything on the field. That's a quick effect while the equip spell is there. And then for the rest of the Link 2s, 1 Yama, 1 Rage, 1 SP. Of course, unfortunately, it's really good and really needed for a lot of the Unchained package, but I feel like we're close to most people, at least who are taking to regional plus level events, hopefully having at least an SP by now, and it's dipping just ever so slightly with looming fear of ban lists and things like that, but SP is still really good. And then a few odd ones, Barricade, Borg Blocker, Muckcracker, and Cross Sheep, all used as kind of part of your combo to work through stuff. And that's it for the links. And then for the Exceeds, we have 1 Typhon, and then the DDD package, because we do play 3s. It doesn't seem like this would come up a lot, but all the Evil Eye cards are, again, starters. So seeing any 1 extra Evil Eye card in your hand that's a different name can allow you to set up like a rank 3, say, on top of doing everything else. So this is a really powerful way to go to it, as well as Gossip Shadow. Shout out to my boy Sonny P for letting me use this for so long. I have to find one. Shout out to my boy Cody, who we found out has like a stack of 10 of these and we just didn't know. So yeah, we got to get one of those. And then the last 2 slots are Phantoms. My boy Alex has my Phantom, and we've just been traveling and haven't connected for a couple weeks, but he has it, and so just shout out to him. But for all the combos and the deck demonstration purposes, you can really just have 1 and be fine. The only time 2 would ever come up is if you lead with a card like Throne to get a Phantom and then do all the stuff with Samsara and everything on top of that after doing the Evil Eye and then make a second Phantom. It's very rare that that comes up, but it has enough to me where the spare slot I still think should just be a second Phantom. So that's it for the main and the extra clean 40 cards. We'll go ahead and get set up and showcase a quick combo. Okay, so there's a lot of ways we can do this truly, but the combo I wanted to showcase the most, that I think people will go to the most, that I've also kind of been exploring a lot, is what do you do if you have 2 normal summons in your hand? How do you do both lines? And so I found ways to do that I think are good, which also helped me condense the Yubel package. Because again, Evil Eye is still the star of the show, but Yubel is an additional package. Or if you just open the Yubel starters without the Evil Eye starters, you can still do that full line as well. So I wanted to showcase a hand where that happens. So I'm going to show you how to be able to use both of these engines throughout the same combo line. The only thing you need in addition, if you do end up seeing both of these together, is just an extra discard. But either way, the normal board can kind of be achieved through just either Evil Eye plays to do, like I said, the Unchained board plus him, or the Yubel board plus, which is like the Unchained board plus I think like Phantom and Apo for 2 and a couple extra things, right? So you could do either, but for this case, I'm just going to show this and show how we can get around opening an extra normal summon and make it work. So we'll start off by normal summoning Sergio, and Sergio's effect will activate. He adds any Evil Eye card from deck to hand. So you're always going to add Unleashed. Unleashed is an insane card. You'll activate it. It sends 2 cards from your deck to the grave as cost. I cannot stress that enough. That is still one of the most broken custom cards I've ever seen. So you're going to dump at least the Gorgon, and then one of the Evil Eye monsters that can special summon themselves from grave. And since we only play 1 Basiltress, you want to keep that in rotation. So we're going to dump Catoblepis. So those 2 get sent as cost, and then we can go ahead and search a Selene from our deck to our hand. The only thing to note is that I believe Unleashed for the rest of the turn, anytime we do non-Evil Eye stuff, you're going to take 500 points of damage. So I've never bothered to sit here and calculate to see if that combo actually does take over 8k to do, but you're doing a lot of stuff. So I'm sure someone in the comments will say, hey, this isn't possible now. But either way, you still get to see how it bridges. So I think that's pretty cool. What you can do then is go ahead, banish Gorgon from your graveyard, and then you can send the Selene you added to go ahead and search a copy of any Evil Eye spell trap. So in this case, it's going to look very weird and atypical to what you do, but we're going to add Awakening. Normally you would get like Reemergence to get the spare tokens and go into Yama and do all that stuff, but we're trying to do all that without locking ourselves into Fiends, which Reemergence does, the one that gets tokens, versus the Reborn does not. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and special summon the Catoblepis, and then we'll link these 2 off. The Catoblepis is going to get banished, and the Sergio will go to grave. And we'll go ahead and get a copy of Barricade Board Blocker. We'll start with that. Blocker's effect is going to trigger. We're going to go ahead and discard the Samsara. So now that's in grave, and then at the end of the turn, if we happen to have a continuous spell or a field spell in our grave, we can add that back to hand. From there, what we're going to go ahead and do is use Awakening to reborn the Selene, and then we can link these 2 off. So we'll go ahead and put those in grave for a copy of Muckcracker. And this is where the extra discard will come into play. So then Muckcracker's effect will discard one of our blanks, in this case we have Imperms, to go ahead and special summon back the Samsara Lotus. And then from here it's going to look like fairly standard Yubel plays. We're going to use Samsara, tribute it off. I noticed I pushed things around just a bit, but I think we're good. We're going to tribute off Samsara to go ahead and get a Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel is going to go ahead and get Nightmare Pain and set that to our board, making sure we're not summoning monsters in the spell trap zone. I might have been doing that the whole time, sorry. But then from here, we'll go ahead, activate the Pain, use it, pop Spirit, and then we can go ahead and search the Grave Squirmer from our deck to our hand. We'll go ahead and add that. And then we'll go ahead and trigger the Spirit of Yubel to go summon the original Yubel from our deck. From there, we'll go ahead, special summon the Squirmer, get rid of these 2, and then we're going to start hitting into the Unchained world. So we're going to go ahead and summon the Yama. I like putting it directly under Muckcracker here just to help with zone placement just a little bit. And then Yama's going to trigger, and we're going to go ahead and get a copy of Sharvara. And now the important thing here that's also nice about the Unchained package is we want the EMZ clear. That's going to come up later for a card for a cross sheep. But we'll go ahead, Sharvara, pop Muckcracker. This will go to the graveyard, summon the Sharvara, and then from here what we can go ahead and do is banish the Grave Squirmer to go ahead and bring back OG Yubel is fine. The only difference in this compared to regular Yubel lines is you would typically get Spirit, pop it to summon the Sharvara, and then you get an extra body here, but you're not getting that in this case, but you don't need it, it's okay. And then we'll go ahead, link these 2 off, or sorry, keeping the Yama on field, yep. Link these 2 off, that was right, sorry. And we're going to go ahead and make a copy of Cross Sheep. We can put it wherever, but again, as long as there's zones free, that's what matters. And then Sharvara will go ahead and trigger. We're going to get our Unchained Trap. So we'll go ahead and grab the escape, which is really nice. We don't have to burn through an extra Yama here. We don't have to do anything crazy. We can still use the escape, which is really good. And then from here, we can go ahead and shuffle back the regular Yubel and the spirit in our grave, or you could do Samsara, whatever you want, but I'm just going to put these two back. They get shuffled, and then we go ahead and get Phantom. And then we get to trigger Cross Sheep to go ahead and summon back Surzeal. And then from here, what we can go ahead and do is link the Cross Sheep and the Yama away into a copy of the Unchained Soul of Rage. And then the last step we can do is pay 1,000 life points and banish the Awakening from Grave to reset the Selene, and then activate and equip it to Surzeal, and then we have the escape. And that's it. That's the basic idea of how you get around opening 2 normal summons with Yubel Evil Eye. And we still have quite a lot of follow-up to deal with. So we have the Phantom, as well as Insulated by Pain, right? When we get the regular Yubel out, forcing them to attack other things, making it not as great. So we have the Interrupt from Phantom. We have an Interrupt from Rage as 2. 3 if we count Escape. 5 if we count SP, the Banish on Summon, as well as the regular banish effect, and then 6 through the Surzeal to pop 1. So really, really powerful, plus the Yama Engrave still for additional follow-up with 2 blanks in hand. So that's it. That is what I've been slowly messing with, Yubel Evil Eye. Let me know what you guys think. It's really hard to make certain bridges work, but I just didn't like the Beckoning Beast engine. I thought the Evil Eye engine was more consistent, had a higher ceiling, could do a lot more on its own, and then the Yubel supplemented it quite well. So what have you guys been experimenting with, getting ready for info, and Vows of Legends coming out now and being out and all that? But yeah, let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.